Welcome to Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is an accountant. She plays with numbers and she is fond of numbers, but we'll find out why. Her name is Anu Arora and she is our woman in focus today. Anu, you're most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Sushma ji. Thank you so much for having me.
What a lovely day.
It is. It certainly is.
Especially for you.
Especially for me.
So, an accountant. You're a chartered accountant. You were an accountant in India as well?
That's right. I was chartered accountant from India and I practice accounting here as well.
Now, I know you as a person who is fond of music, who's fond of poetry, who's an artist. You had aspirations of being in films and TV shows, and that is very creative.
Right.
And accounting is, if I may use the word, very boring.
It is, certainly. Most of the people say it's a very boring profession.
Yes.
In fact, my own daughter says that I have kind of wasted my creativity. I have, and she says, I don't know how you can do it all day with numbers, surrounded with numbers. It is certainly a boring one. But the profession is boring, but I'm not.
Or like that.
Yeah.
So, for a person who is so much interested in poetry and art, how do you switch that off while you're doing your accounting, or how does that complement each other?
I don't switch it off. I think it's like, it's a coin. You know, there are two sides of the coin.
Okay.
So I think that's another side of me. It doesn't leave you. It's always there.
If you were given a chance, would you, and you had the opportunity of doing what you wanted to do and go into theatre and movies and TV serials, would you give this life up for that?
I won't say that I would give this life up because I have no regrets in life.
Okay.
I have made most of it. I have made most of what has come to me. And I think wisdom lies in that. I enjoyed my theatre time. I enjoyed dancing. I enjoyed singing. And I was good at it and I enjoyed that time. And I'm enjoying what I'm doing now too.
Well, you continue singing because you're fond of singing and you're fond of poetry. We'll come to that because that's a totally different aspect, because I've got some really fantastic questions for that. But let's go back and take you to your childhood. Where were you born and what sort of a household were you being brought up in?
I was born in Delhi. My father was in defense services.
Okay.
So in the earlier childhood, till I was 13, we kept moving. So I have moved all around India. I have lived in different places, learned different cultures, different people, different values, and a happy family.
Right.
Right. I had two siblings, two younger sisters, a close-knit family. And then when I was almost 13, my dad took voluntary retirement from forces. Just because I think he had three girls who were teenagers.
Yes.
And you know, it is hard because the last posting he had was not a family posting.
Right.
So he was struggling because, you know, it was difficult at that time. So I think that was the decision he took, he thought was right.
Right.
And we moved back to Delhi.
Okay.
That was an entirely different chapter for my life. It was a big change.
Right.
For the reason that we were, you know, as you say, the defense personnel lifestyle as compared to the civilian life.
Okay, so because there is a huge difference.
Huge difference. And I did feel it, and it was not only culturally, not only values-wise, I think financially too.
I've met and heard from many people that they are totally, they are brought up totally differently. They go to different schools. Their etiquette is different.
Absolutely.
What is it? What is the difference?
I think because I've had both kinds of life.
Yes.
And my dad was in defense services, and when we were traveling and we were being posted in different places,
right.
You know, we used to learn different cultures.
Okay.
We used to meet different people, and money was not that very important.
Okay.
You know, having good values,
Yeah.
being brought up in a healthy atmosphere, I think that was more important.
And the schooling was in better schools?
It was always, and I have always all through studied in Kendriya Vidyalayas, that
Okay.
is central schools. So, and different challenges. Every new place you go to,
Yeah.
you know, every city has a different character of its own.
Yes.
Every place is challenging. And in those times, we did not have the convenience of telephones,
No.
technology. You know, I remember the last posting my dad had was in Assam,
Yeah.
where we did not even have a radio station.
Really?
Yeah. So the only radio station, the only radio program that we used to get
Yeah.
is for 1 hour. You know, Hindi Bollywood songs, 1 hour. And my dad knew that we were fond of this, and he cultivated that habit in us. I remember he bought a 2-in-1, you know, a National
Yeah.
Panasonic
Oh,
2-in-1, and he brought 2 audio cassettes.
Yes.
And I categorically remember that one was Chaudhry Ka Chand and Barsat Ki Raat combination, and another was a Lata singing at England Palladium.
Oh, okay.
And then he brought a blank audio cassette.
Yes.
And we used to record all sort of things.
Yes.
So the companionship, the togetherness, I think that was lost when, you know, it's kind of lost when you come
Yes.
to a different lifestyle, when you...
And a different city and a
City.
bigger city.
Yes.
You know, so when you were moving, were they smaller towns?
They were, some were smaller. Like I have lived in a place called Adampur, which is it is a Air Force base.
Okay.
And it was close to Jalandhar.
Right.
But it was a very smaller place as such.
Right.
You know, more a town than a city or anything. And Chabua, most of the people haven't heard of that place. It is in Assam.
Uh-huh.
And it became a family posting very recently when we moved there. So technically we were in jungles.
Yeah.
There were hardly any, as I said, there was no radio station, there were
Right.
no theaters. But, you know, that one outing my dad used to take us out on Sunday to
Yeah.
a city close by, Dibrugarh.
Right.
Right? And he used to make us watch a movie. The entire family used to go together and we used to enjoy that. And
Right.
it made so much difference.
And also you were young at that time, in your teens.
Right. I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have 2 sisters who are younger to you or
Who are
older
younger
to
to
you?
me. I'm the oldest one.
You're the
so-
oldest?
Yeah.
Ah, so more assertive, more confident, more...
I don't think the age or, you know, the number it makes a difference, but I think I've always been assertive. I've always been confident. It's, I think, a part of my persona.
I want to talk a little bit about your life in Delhi and how, because I've heard a lot about the way you were growing up and more tomboyish than,
I was. Yeah.
You know, okay, so let's take a short break and we'll come back to that.
Sure.
Anu Arora is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.